Number 10.
Yeah, I like the value, obviously. I wasn't as high on Shedeur as some folks like Mel Kiper Jr. were, but I did think that he was a second-round pick in this draft, so to get him in the 5th round represents an obvious value, and I do like the scheme fit with Kevin Stefanski's play-action based. They're going to run the ball with Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson added in this draft at running back, so the fit is good. I also like that he's going to be behind some established veterans in Joe Flacco. Kenny Pickett probably sticks around, so he's going to have an opportunity to learn from some players who were first-round picks previously, and he can get acclimated to the NFL. Now, Cam Ward is probably the least talked about number 1 overall pick since I've been doing this. Cam Ward is a baller. He's a playmaker. The fit with Tennessee is going to be fantastic. I wish they had a couple more weapons for him. You can't fill every need in one draft or one offseason, unfortunately, but his arm talent, his ability, the way that he can move in and out of the pocket to find passing windows and then hit you with that shortstop motion. He dials up velocity really, really well. So Cam Ward, a great fit with the Titans. Now, I like the Jalen Milroe fit a lot with the Seattle Seahawks. He's not going to be pressured to play right away. Sam Darnold's there. But we do have a team with Clint Kubiak as the offensive coordinator, who I believe will get him on the field early in some packages as a runner. And that's where he is elite. He could be one of the best running quarterbacks in the entire NFL. So we should see him in some goal line packages. We could even see him in some short yardage packages, taking snaps out of the backfield. And finally, lose guy, Tyler Shough. I didn't like the value. I thought it was a little bit of a reach at 40. However, the Saints need a quarterback who can play right away. After Cam Ward, Tyler Shough is the most pro-ready quarterback in the entire 2025 draft class, thanks to his experience in college from Oregon to Texas Tech to Louisville. He is ready to go right away, and he has some weapons to work with and an improved offensive line down in New Orleans.
All right, Lou, I'm getting to you on Shough because I know you're itching to talk about him. But quickly, Matt, why was it a reach for you to get him at 40?
Yeah, I thought he was more of a, just on value, I thought he was more of a late second, early third round pick was where I had him rated. I do worry. My only concern with Tyler Shough is, did he figure it out at age 25 because he's been in college for 6 or 7 years? And that's a question that really can't be answered until he gets to the NFL. Is he topped out because he's been in college for so long? This guy was Justin Herbert's backup at Oregon. He's been there for a minute. So did he find that success this past year based on his age and the reps that he's had? Or sometimes it's just a guy breaks through. It happened to Jaden Daniels. It happened to Joe Burrow. So we'll see once he gets out on the field.
We've sufficiently annoyed Lewis, which is perfect, as you can go ahead, Lou, and defend your guy. Why is Shough ready to start right now for the Saints?
Well, look, he has been around for a little while. The only thing that I got annoyed by is, like, has he topped out? I mean, Geno Smith was in the league how long before he actually hit his stride? Sam Darnold has been in the league how long before he actually hit his stride? Tyler Shough's age is so overblown, it's absolutely ridiculous, okay? It's overblown. At 25, we're talking about him like he's Tom Brady, like he's 48. And we're like, oh, my God, he might not make it through his first contract. Look, he is someone who has been tutored by two of the very best in all of college football, in Jeff and Brian Brom. Jeff Brom is made for the pro game. Jeff Brom should be getting head coaching interviews to coach in the NFL. Why? Because his offense mirrors everything that you see on Sundays. The way in which he installs offense mirrors what you see on Sunday. The way in which he teaches the quarterback position in terms of protections, identifying defenses, going through progressions, the kind of footwork, the kind of decision-making you need to have. These are all things that he's done in his career as a player. He's done it as a coach. He transferred them over to Tyler Shough, who really, when I talked to Jeff down in Louisville this year, doesn't have a whole lot of deficiencies. He doesn't have, he's plenty mobile in the pocket. He runs 4.6 at 220 pounds. He's got a rocket arm. He's super smart. They couldn't overload him. Here's the number one issue with Tyler, which was he broke his collarbone twice and broke his lower leg. And his lower leg was broken because of the hip drop tackle. Somebody rolled on it. Well, if you tell me a way in which you can prevent that, there's some kind of leg lift or plyometric you can do to prevent someone from rolling on your lower leg and breaking it, I'd like to hear it, because you're probably going to be a multi-billionaire. This guy's going to be just fine. Kellen Moore targeted this guy. If you listen to Kellen Moore talk about him through the pre-draft process, they speak the same language. Tyler will hit the ground running. Tyler's going to have a chance to be the day one starter, because we don't know what's going on with Derek Carr. We don't know what that shoulder looks like. He's in such a unique position, and I think he is uniquely qualified to handle it.
I mean, look, I don't have anything else. I mean, Lou ate the whole meal when talking about Tyler Shough.
What did it taste like, Lou?
I'm telling you now. But what I will say is this, Lou. What I will say is this. When I had the conversation over the phone talking about it, the older quarterbacks have found early success in the NFL. And all I had to attribute it to was two guys that Matt mentioned, and Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels. And coming out of college, whether that's maturity, whether that's understanding how to handle the mental aspect of the NFL, that maturity somehow, I think, plays into how well these guys have played early, beyond the amount of reps that they had in college as well. So, and New Orleans needed a quarterback. I didn't feel like it was a reach. I disagree with Matt on that because of the status of where they are with Derek Carr. But ultimately, hopefully he can stay in that same vein of the older college quarterbacks that have come out and found a tremendous amount of success. One that I didn't mention is Bo Nix as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at his age, you can look at that many different ways. I love the fact that Lewis says Kellen Moore and Tyler Shough speak the same language. Well, they should. They were born around the same time. You know, I think about where I was when I was 25. You know, when I was 25,
there you go, RC. There you go.
When I was 25, I was starting in Washington with the late, great Sean Taylor. But that didn't mean I didn't continue to grow. I didn't continue to progress. I didn't continue to ascend. What that does tell me is Tyler Shough may be in a position of maturity where he is ready to start in New Orleans, which isn't a perfect place for a young rookie quarterback. You will need a level of maturity. You will need to understand how to handle adversity. I believe Tyler Shough has some experience in that. What I do know is he can flat out throw a football. He understands where it needs to go, when it needs to get there, and exactly where it needs to be on the receiver to give him the best opportunity to catch the ball. That's what it takes to be a quarterback in this league. There's enough film on him to know what he can do well. He also has enough experience to communicate that to Kellen Moore. I believe this is an extremely good pick for the New Orleans Saints. It's going to be, do they have enough around him to protect this quarterback and allow him to grow?
Lou wanted dessert there for a second. I see you asking for a little more.
You see those hand signals
I saw you
right there? I just wanted to say one other thing. Last year, remember, a lot of the talk surrounding Bo Nix centered around his age.
Chad, I have one question.
Centered around the fact that he had been in college a long time, and we were like, hey, you know what? Bo Nix may be topped out. Bo Nix may not get any better. But Sean Payton saw something that a lot of people didn't. And a little birdie has told me Sean Payton really likes Tyler Shough, even though he didn't need a quarterback.
I heard that, birdie.
I have one question for you guys. How is it that I'm on today with the three best dressed men at ESPN, and I'm the only one that wore a suit and tie?
Yeah, what's
what
happening there?
There was a group text that went out.
Because you think it's mid-November.
Mac, that's because I
you
do
think
it
it's
so much.
mid-November.
I ain't got nothing to prove.
Oh, listen, I was about to say mid-November, Swagoo. Were you wearing a suit and a tie in mid-November either? I don't think so, which is totally great. We don't need to wear that on this show. But Matt, we're gonna see when you come back if you have an outfit change. Like you could go take your tie off.
It's okay to fit in.
Up a little bit.
It's okay to fit in. You're standing out for many reasons amongst this group.
We're going to leave it there. When we come back, we're talking about more on these Steelers quarterbacks. What's going on in the Steel City? I can't stand you, Brian Clark. They're hedging all their bets on air.